同学大家好，现在我们讲新概念英语第四册的第44课啊。The cost of government. If a nation is essentially disunited, it is left to the government to hold it together. This increases the expense of government and reduces correspondingly the amount of economic resources that could be used for developing the country. And it should not be forgotten how small those resources are in a poor and backward country, where the cost of government is high. Resources for development are correspondingly low. This may be illustrated by comparing the position of a nation with that of a private business enterprise. An enterprise has to incur certain costs and expenses in order to stay in business. For our purposes, we are concerned only with one kind of cost, the cost of managing and administering the business. Such administrative overheads in a business are analogous to the cost of a government in a nation. The administrative overheads of a business are low to the extent that everyone working in the business can be trusted to behave in a way that best promotes the interests of the firm. If they can each be trusted to take such responsibilities and to exercise such initiative as falls within their sphere, then administrative overheads will be low. It will be low because it will be necessary to have only one man looking after each job, without having another man to check upon what he is doing, keep him in line, and report on him to someone else. But if no one can be trusted to act in a loyal and responsible manner towards his job, then the business will require armies of administrators, checkers, and foremen, and administrative overheads will rise correspondingly. Correspondingly 啊 ，sorry， 我这个字读出来 correspondingly 不是 correspondently 啊 ，correspondingly 啊 ，correspondingly. As administrative overheads rise, so the earnings of the business after meeting the expense of administration will fall, and the business will have less money to distribute as dividends or invest directly in its future progress and development. It is precisely the same with the nation, to the extent that the people can be relied upon to behave in a loyal and responsible manner. The government does not require armies of police and civil servants to keep them in order. But if a nation is disunited, the government cannot be sure that the actions of the people will be in the interest of the nation, and it will have to watch, check, and control the people accordingly. A disunited nation, therefore, has to incur unduly high costs of government. 我们看这个第一句啊。If a nation is essentially disunited, it is left to the government to hold it together. 那么这里呢有一个条件状语从句啊。If a nation is essentially disunited, it is left to the government to hold it together. 那么这里呢，这个 it 好像是这个，应该是这个什么？应该是那个形式主语啊。真正的主语是什么 ？To hold it together， 这个不定式是主语啊。To hold it together is left to the government 啊。那么这个 it 呢是形式主语，这个 it 是指 nation 啊，把这个 nation hold it together 啊。This increases the expense of government and reduces correspondingly the amount of economic resources that could be used blah 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 啊。那么this increases the expense of government and reduces correspondingly the amount of economic resources 后面这个 that could be used for developing the country， 这个是一个定语从句啊，这个 that 是指那个 economic resources 啊 ，the economic resources could be used for developing 定语从句啊。And it should not be forgotten how small those resources are in the poor and backward 好，那么这个这一句里面这个 it 也是一个形式主语啊，它的真正的主语是一个 how 啊 ，how 引导的一个从句啊，也是主语从句啊。How small these resources are in a poor and backward country should not be forgotten 啊，明白吗？这个也是一个。那么我们以前呢，往往呢，就是说这个形式主语啊，往往是都是那个 that 分句，对不对？那么我们今天这里呢，比较特殊啊，比较偶然，这种句子比较少一点啊。就是这个 how 啊，这个 how 这个引导的这个名词性从句啊，这个从句啊。作为那个真正的主语啊这个比较少见啊。那么好 ，where the cost of government is high, resources for development are correspondingly low 啊。那么这个呢有一个 where 从句啊。那么我们上次也碰到这个 where 就是说，在这个 cost high 这个时候啊，那么这个呢也不是很这个 where 啊，这个 where 引导的状语从句啊。就是说不一定是这个地点状语从句啊，你这里说这个 where 是地点状语，是很勉强的，对不对？它是一种对应的啊，就是说你当出现这个 government cost of government is high 的时候呢，这种情况下面呢 ，resources for development are correspondingly low 啊，那么大家看到了啊，这个 where 这个从句啊。也是比较复杂的啊，不是光就是地点状语从句啊，那么这个呢，在语法书上面也讲到这种问题啊，那么大家可以看语法书，这里呢我只说一下，这种 where 引导的状语从句啊，大家注意一下。好，那么this may be illustrated by comparing the position of a nation with that of a private business 啊，那么这个是一句简单句啊。An enterprise has to incur certain costs in order to stay in the business 啊。那么这个也是一句简单句，对不对 ？For our purpose, we are concerned only with one kind of cost, the cost of managing the business. 那么这个也是简单句啊。Such administrative overheads in a business are analogous to the cost of government in a nation. 啊，这个也是一句简单句，对吧？那么 the administrative overheads of business are low to the extent that everyone working in the business can be trusted to behave in a way that best promotes the interests of the firm 哈。那么这一句啊，那么这一句呢，有一个介词短语叫 to the extent 啊，那么 to the extent 它到什么程度，对不对 ？to the extent， 那么后面这个 that 这是一个从句啊，那么这个呢，应该说是 extent 的同位语啊。什么程度啊？就 what kind of extent? Extent that everyone working in the business can be trusted to behave in a way that best 那这个 extent 啊。那么这个从句啊，这个同位语从句里面还有一个 that best promotes the interests of the firm 啊。那么 behave in a way 什么 way 啊？这个也是一个同位语从句啊 ，in a way, what kind of way 啊 ？That the way sorry， 这个不是，这个应该就不是同位语从，这个是定语从句啊。这个 that 指这个 way 啊 ，in a way 啊，什么 way 啊？the way in which 啊，the way in which the way which 啊，which best promotes 啊。那么 这个是一个定语从句啊，修饰这个为的啊，什么为啊 ？The way best promotes behavior in the way 啊，那么 in the way that the way best promotes the interest of a firm 啊，那么这个定语从句。If they can each be trusted to take such a responsibility and exercise such initiative as falls within the sphere, then the administrator will be low. 好，那么这个啊，首先这有一个条件状语从句啊，到这里真的是一个条件状语从句，对吧 ？If they can be, if they can each be trusted to take such a responsibility and to to exercise such initiatives. 好，这里 as falls within their sphere， 这个是一个定语从句啊。那么这个呢，是由 as 引导的定语从句啊。那么我们以前碰到过 as 呢，这里的 as 啊是主语啊，关系代词啊，做主语啊。那么这个 as 指什么啊？指那个 such responsibilities and such an initiatives 啊。这个responsibility and initiatives， 那个 which 啊，这些responsibility 跟那个 initiatives 啊 ，which falls within their sphere 啊。那么这里啊，大家知道这里啊，因为这个你如果是那个像一般的那个的话，它那个关系代词指的这个前面的这 responsibility 是复数，看到没有啊？initiative 是单数，对不对？但是这个 as 呢，它是一种 general 的那种所指的啊，它是指就是指这种啊，这种 responsibility 跟那个 initiative 啊，它把这个呢就都看成一个字单数了，所以呢，它这个动词啊用了一个第三人称单数啊 ，as falls within the sphere 啊。那么好，那个主句呢 ，then administrative office will be low 啊，这个是主句。那么 it will be low because it will be necessary to have only one man looking after each job without having another man to check upon what he's doing, keep him in line, and blah blah blah. 好，那么首先呢，这里呢有一个 because 啊，从句啊 ，because it was necessary to have one man look blah 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 blah。那么这个呢是一个原因状语从句啊 ，it will be low 啊 ，because 啊 ，it will be necessary。那么大家注意了，这个 it 啊。这个 it 是指那个 administrative overheads 啊，这个 it。那么后面这个原因状语从句里面啊，这个原因状语从句里面有一个 it 啊，这个 it 就不是一个指是那个了，这个是一个形式主义啊。It will be necessary, to have only one man。它呢是一个形式主义，它真正的主语是个不定式啊。To have only one man looking after it without having blah 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 啊，这个呢是一个真正的主语啊，明白吗？这是一个不定式，对不对啊？那么我们看这个不定式里面啊 ，to have only one man looking after each job without having another man to check upon what he's doing 啊。那么好，这里呢 without having。那么这个 without having 这个是一个做介词短语，对不对？介词短语对，做状语的啊。without having another man to 好 without having another man， 那么后面呢，它呢有那个一个跟了一个不定式 to check， 对不对？它这个不定式呢 to 这个不定式呢后面是并列的，这个不定式包含了几个动词啊，一个是 check upon what he is doing， 对不对？然后是 to keep him in line and to report on him to someone else 啊，这三个呢并列作为这个不定式的，这个不定式是这个并列的不定式啊，明白吗？好，那么第一个里面呢 to check upon 呢 what he is doing， 这个呢是一个宾语介词的宾语 upon 的宾语啊，这个从句啊，这是一个从句 what he is doing， 对吧？这个是间接疑问句啊。这个间接疑问句做这个介词 upon 的那个宾语啊 ，keep him in line and report on him to someone else 啊， But if no one can be trusted to act in a loyal and responsible manner towards his job, then the business will require armies of checkers and foremen, and business will 好。那么这个这个呢由两句句子构成的。首先第一句句子到这里啊，这是第一句句子，这是第一句句子。然后呢，这个用 and 呢和后面这句句子呢是并列的。那么我们先来看这个第一句句子，先来看这个第一句句子。But if no one can be trusted to act in the lawyer， 好，第一句句子呢有一个条件状语从句啊，这个是条件状语从句，对不对 ？If no one can be trusted to act in a loyal and responsible manner towards his job， 然后呢 ，then the business will require armies of administrators, checkers and foremen， 对不对？好，这个后面这个是主句啊 ，then 一直到这里是主句，对不对？那么我们来看第二句。And a message of his word， 这个是一个简单的限定句啊 ，correspondingly 啊。后面 as a message of his rights, so the earnings of the business after meeting the expenses will fall 啊。那么这个呢是一个 as 跟 so 连用的啊。当怎么样的时候，所以呢，这个时候应该是所以啊。那么这个时候是连词，这里的 as 啊，这里的 as 是副词，对不对？这个时候是连词啊。那么 as 这个 administrative 这个呢是一个也是一个状语从句 ，as 这个是当什么什么什么啊，这个呢应该是一个时间状语从句啊 ，as administrative， 所以呢。当这个时候呢，所以呢 ，the earnings of the business after meeting the will fall 啊，那么这个是主句啊，那么它有一个 so 啊引导，但是这个是主句啊，这前面这个是从句，时间状语从句。And the business will have less money to distribute as dividends or invest directly in the future， 啊，这句是简单句啊。对吧 ？We have less money to distribute or invest 啊，这个是简单句，只不过里面并列了两个不定式并列 ，to invest or to distribute as dividends or to invest directly in his future progress 啊。那么后面 ，it is precisely the same with the nation。那么这个呢是一个简单句，对吧？ It is the same 啊 ，It is the same。这里的这个 it 啊，这里的一个，这里的 it 呢，就指前面那种情况啊，这就是指这种状况啊 ，is precisely the same 啊，就是那个企业的状况啊，企业的这种状况啊 ，is precisely the same with the nation 啊 ，to the extent that people can be relied upon to behave in a loyal and responsible manner。The government does not require armies of police to keep them in order 哈。那么这里呢又有一个 to the extent 啦，这个 to the extent 是那个介词短语，对不对？好，那么这里呢是 that the people can be relied upon to behave in a manner 啊，到这里，那么这个呢又是一个同位语的，做那个 extent 的同位语的。什么 extent what kind of extent that the people can be relied upon to behave in a loyal manner？ 然后呢，这个主句啊 ，the government does not require armies of police to keep them in order 啊，这个是简单的限定句啊。那么 ，but if a nation is disunited, the government cannot be sure that the actions of people will be in the interest of the nation。好，那么这里呢一个条件句。If a nation is if a nation is这条件句啊 ，if a nation is disunited， 这是条件状语从句，对不对？后面这个 the government cannot be sure that到这里啊，那么到这里呢有一个 that 从句，有一个 that 从句，这个 that 从句大家知道，这个 sure 的那个补助语，做形容词 sure 的比如说 sure cannot be sure。That the actions of the people will be in the interest of the nation 啊 and it will have to watch, check, and control the people accordingly. 那么这里的 it 呢是这个 nation 这个 nation 呢 will have to watch, check, and control the people accordingly. This narrative therefore has to incur unduly high cost of 这个是简单句，对不对？这是简单句。好，那么今天这一课讲到这里，谢谢大家，再见。